Okay, the very first step in getting Dropbox installed on your system is setting up a username, email, password information if you don't currently have Dropbox. If you have Dropbox, you can just log right into it. You probably can bypass a bunch of these steps because you've already done this. But assuming that you've never used Dropbox before, this is this screen that you're going to be presented with, and you're going to have to go ahead and fill this in and sign up free, agree to the Dropbox terms. I am a Dropbox user, and for this installation process, I've actually removed it from my system completely. It's gone, so that I could walk you through exactly how to set it up on a computer, on your computer. So pretend that you've done that. I'm just going to close that out because that's it. So when you are done doing that process, you're going to be presented with this screen at Dropbox.com. Your folders obviously are going to be different. These are my folders, and your files and folders will be different. So sometimes when you first log on, it will prompt you to install the app. Go ahead and do that and follow the prompts. If it doesn't, if you go over here to the right hand side, there's an account menu, this little icon deal over here. I'm going to click that, and there's some different settings and options and stuff. I want to go to install. I'm going to click that once, and it wants me to go ahead and click this box. So I'm going to just follow the prompts. That's fine. It's saving it to the desktop. And this process, even though I'm on a Windows-based PC, is going to be quite a bit similar to what a Macintosh-based PC would be like. There's just slight differences. So it's downloading, and now it's ready. So I'm going to click that down here. I'm going to give it permission to run and execute the installer. And it says, are you sure you really want to do that? Yes, I am. So this just takes a few minutes. I'll come back once it's done. Okay, I'm back. And Dropbox has installed to this point. It says, congratulations, it was installed. Go ahead and open your Dropbox. And it already knows who you are because you installed it from the installer from inside your Dropbox folder that you created, the actual internet-based portion or the cloud-based portion. So I'm going to click Get Started. And this is just a brief tutorial, kind of cursory explanation, high level, about what Dropbox is. Go ahead and read through those and understand what it is. I'm just going to kind of bop through this because it is what it is. So I can go ahead and close this down. I can close this down. Well, I can close it all down. It doesn't matter anymore. As you can see, all those files that were on the internet are syncing to my machine. You can see it's kind of a blue little icon. Once they start turning green, that means they're downloaded and synchronized. I've got a lot of files here, so it does take just a few minutes. See, if I hover over this thing in the lower right, you'll see the Dropbox version downloading 1,244 files. Your system is not going to have 1,244 files probably immediately. So it's got a little bit of time. So in the meantime, I can click this, and yours for Macintosh will be in a different location, but you'll have this little box that has that's like an opening of a box. I'm going to go ahead and click into it and go into the this little cog up here. And while it's syncing, I'm going to go to Preferences, and I want to make sure a few settings are set up on here, and it probably is by default, but it doesn't hurt to check. And I just want to double check that it's going to start on System Startup. Yes, I want that to happen. Notify me about comments or mentions or synced files. You can turn those off if you want, but I personally kind of like it. It helps. Dropbox badge, that's what is in Microsoft products. I'll show you that in another tutorial. And for the account, that's probably all fine and good. This is actually a very good thing to remember. It has a selective sync option. If you have a folder with a bunch of video files, actually, I think I have a bunch of video files in here. I could show you how that works. So if I click that, I want to say, yes, I have a bunch of movie files. I don't want those to synchronize right now. They're huge files. Unchecked files will be removed from your Dropbox. I don't want them to synchronize. So that's a good thing. You can set up certain folders to not synchronize if they're too big, and they'll make you exceed your free allotment to Dropbox, and or for any other reason that you can think of. You don't want your tax file information syncing to the web. You want to keep it on your local machine. That's up to you. In the import, you probably don't need to monkey with that too much. On bandwidth, I like to set the upload rate to don't limit. I want it to go as fast as I can. I'm going to click apply, and then the proxy information, just let it auto detect. That's fine. So that's about it. Now you'll see these little icons are starting to change from blue to green check marks. Green check marks means that what's here is what's in the cloud and vice versa. It's totally synced. So it just takes a little bit of time for it to, 40 seconds left, 500 files left. So I am just going to let this go for a few more minutes, and then we'll pick up back. Once these are synchronized, I'll pick back up and show you the next phase of installation. Okay, now you'll see they all turn green, and I actually got that message down there telling me all my files are synchronized. And this is a wonderful thing. Just having Dropbox installed on your machine is awesome. So if I need to access the files there, I can double click this little box down here or wherever it resides on your computer. I go straight to the Dropbox. I can right click on here, and I can open Windows Explorer, and I can click Dropbox. Or I can click just this, and there it is, Dropbox. So however you access your Windows or your folders for your machine or for your taste, that's how you would access it. So it's great as is, and I'll show you now. If I go into Word, I can save files to Dropbox. I can say testing Dropbox sync. I can click save, and I can browse. And right now I'm defaulted to go to my documents folder, which is fine, but that's not Dropbox. That's not on the web. That's just on my computer. And if I forget a file on my computer and I need access to it, and I don't have my computer, I can't access it. So I need to remember to always then switch it to Dropbox and find a folder for it and click save, do whatever. So now, as soon as I do that, and I check my Dropbox, testing Dropbox sync. There it is. So the beauty of it is, so this is how Dropbox gets its powers. So here's my Dropbox folder that's on the web. Better yet, you know what I'll do? I'll open up Dropbox on the web. And to open up Dropbox on the web, I'll close that down. I can click this, and there's this little icon here, the little globe icon, and that'll open directly to Dropbox on the web. So now you see, let's get rid of that. Now you see that the stuff that file I saved, I can do another one. Let's call this Dropbox test. Click save. Now I have to remember to browse, and I have to click Dropbox, and I'm going to call it Dropbox test, and I'm going to save it to my Dropbox, and then I'm going to close this, and then watch. As soon as I click close and click save, Dropbox test is already synced to the web. It's I can wherever I am in the world, as long as I have the internet connection, I can obtain those files that they're saved there. So it's great to have that type of functionality. But you have to kind of remember that you need to save it to your Dropbox. The better way to implement Dropbox on your system is to set up your you have two folders that are of particular importance. The one is files that are on your desktop, all this stuff, because some people save and work from their desktop entirely. You want to be backing those up automatically. The other is the documents folder. All of this stuff, this is just a bunch of garbage I threw in here. But if you've been using your computer for any time, every time you click save, you're saving it to your My Documents folder. So what you really want to do is marry Dropbox to at least those two locations. You want your Dropbox folder to save any files that you put on your desktop, and you also want Dropbox to save any files or folders that you save to your My Documents folder. The way you do that is if you get into in the Macintosh version is different. I'll give different instructions for that, but this one I'll actually show because I have a Windows-based PC. So if I go to my Windows Explorer, which I can right-click, or I can click this little folder icon. Let's expand this. So in order to synchronize my desktop, you'll see I have this desktop icon in favorites. That's not what I want to do. That shows me what's there, and I can verify that this is my desktop files. Okay, so they're here too. Files, Dropbox installer, all these things. So what I want to do is scroll down a little bit farther. I'll hide this for a second. Hide that. And you'll see that I go from having favorites of desktop, and I got to find my name, my user profile information. So I want to open that up, and I want to find the desktop there because this is the actual source file. These are just symbolic links back to this file. We don't want to link a link. So what you want to do is go to your Dropbox, create a new folder called desktop. So I want my desktop stuff to be stuffed inside of a folder in my Dropbox. Just makes it a little bit easier. So now I'm going to go back to my user profile information, and I'm going to scroll down till I see Dropbox, and I'm going to right click this and go to properties. Find the location tab, and I want to move it. And then I'm going to go to my Dropbox folder, and there's that folder that I created. I'm going to select that folder, and I'm going to say apply. You're going to get this little message, and you're going to say yes, I want to merge those, and I want to move that. So what that just did, some pretty magical stuff. Now you see all these files have the synchronized to Dropbox. So now if I'm looking at my Dropbox online, this is a Chrome web browser, and I pop in here, these files from my desktop on my computer are now magically on the internet. So everything I save here, if I open a new file and I create a new file called testing Dropbox .docx, get rid of that. Yes, I want you to change that. Almost immediately, testing Dropbox.docx is there. As soon as I click save, I get the little check mark, and whammo, it's all the way up on the internet. I have a backup. If my computer dies right now, I did not lose that file. So if you're one of those people that likes to work from the desktop and save all your files to the desktop, that little integration where you move those files together is awesome. So the next thing that we want to do is the same thing for your My Documents. Now you have a location here in libraries called Documents. We don't want to move that documents because that's, like, again, a link. see, here's the documents that are on my computer. They don't live on the internet yet. That's what I'm going to be doing. I want to move all those there, and then it also sets up the save location for Microsoft products. So the same thing, I'm going to go into my profile, I'm going to go down the line, and I'm going to find the one that goes for my documents. I'm going to right click it, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to properties, I'm going to find the location tab, and I'm going to move this. Now I set a specific subfolder within my Dropbox to collect the desktop files. This one I kind of wanted to merge in between, and then I'll clean it up, move stuff around. So I'm just going to direct it to Dropbox, but I'm not going to put it inside of a folder inside of Dropbox. I just want it to merge into the root. So, users box, I can say OK, and I can say yes. And in a couple of seconds, my wife is calling, you'll see on the internet all those files are being synchronized. There they are, all those files that I had on, that was my documents folder on my computer. Now they are synced there. So when I go to Dropbox now, I have merged the two. Here's my desktop. That is my Dropbox. But it's also the same. So if I delete all this stuff off my desktop, you'll see a couple of things happen here. I'll actually open up the desktop here. Okay, so here's my desktop. That's my home computer desktop. Here's the desktop folder within Dropbox, and here's my cloud folder, my internet folder. I'm just going to go ahead and move all those. That's just a bunch of garbage. Gone. 100% synchronized, ready to go. So if you save stuff on your desktop, it's bounced out to the internet instantly. If you save stuff now to your My Documents folder, which your My Documents folder now is Dropbox. So when I open up here and I go testing my Dropbox sync, and I click save, now rather than having to navigate to Dropbox, even if I just click browse, it automatically goes to Dropbox. I'm forced to use it. I don't have a choice. I have to physically move outside of Dropbox and put it somewhere else. But even if I go to My Documents, it doesn't matter. They're the same place. My Documents there in Dropbox are the same. So I'm going to test that, and there, and it's updated. You can see down here, it's up to date. So this is the best way to operate with Dropbox. And I'll show you one other thing while I'm in here. So I want to have open my Chrome web browser and my actual Dropbox folder on my computer. Now this is where I can start to kind of clean things up. I had merged those, and for my circumstances, and you won't see this because you just won't, unless you're showing invisible files, which I am, but most people don't. So I want to start kind of cleaning that up. I want to just get rid of those because it's just a bunch of junk. Instantly this is cleaning up. So it's kind of best to work from, see, this is more junk files. Work from your file folders from inside of Windows. Get accustomed to using Windows Explorer. Right click on there and go to Windows Explorer, and just work from inside of these. So I've got my desktop folder, folder with stuff in it, which actually doesn't have stuff in it because that was just something I was trying to show you. And you'll see, yeah, these are the files then that I want. And now Dropbox is linked up with my two best places. And it is a beautiful thing because it doesn't matter what I save here, I'm going to see that little red thing. As soon as I click it, it's updated. It's uploaded to the internet just like that. So if I'm working on the desktop, my files are safe. If I'm working on just a document, it doesn't matter if it's Excel. Open up a workbook, whatever. That's my workbook. Save. Browse. So you can see it there too. You can see Dropbox there. Doesn't matter. It's all the same place. Now I'm going to save it, the XLS, straight to Dropbox. And you can see it as soon as I go into Dropbox. There it is. And because it's there, I can... Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. I can check it here, and I'll see testing.xls 34 seconds ago. I can delete it. I can rename this to my cool Excel doc. My cool Excel doc there. Doesn't matter. They go back and forth. I can say, I can move it around on there, and I can delete it on here. Doesn't matter. It's a beautiful thing. Now, what you want to do from this point going forward, you want to put Dropbox on everything. You want it on your tablet. You want it on your smartphone. You want it on your Windows machine. You want it on your Macintosh. And then everybody is in sync with one another at a moment's notice. Then you can share files to your parents. You can share files to anybody. Your files are backed up. Your files are safe. Anyway, I know this was a very long-winded explanation of Dropbox, but it will get you off on the right foot. Thank you.